in the Premier League. Just like in our fast tournament, all 20 Premier League clubs are represented by either a player from their squad, an ex-player or celebrity fan. We're with you all week. We're currently on day 3 going into game 3. Joe, this is one I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about this one all week, haven't we? We'll come on to just who's about to play in a second, but a quick reminder, please do stay home and help save lives. It's really important right now. And that the prize fund from this EPL Invitational is being donated to the Players Together initiative, a wicked cause. Right, let's have a look then at the game that you guys are about to see. It's going to be Burnley, represented by Charlie Taylor, who we've already seen play once, up against Manchester City's young sensation, Phil Foden, hotly tipped as a potential tournament favourite. So I'm very excited about this. We can see the draw in full too. Of course, this sits on the right-hand side of the draw, and the winner of this match would go through to play Aston Villa, who are represented by Keenan Davis, who put on a really, really impressive performance yesterday, beating Jose Enrique, who is an old-school FIFA player, 6-1. So this side of the draw is absolutely stacked, and I cannot wait, Smithy, to see what this game has to offer.
Yeah, it should be very exciting. Before we talk about this game particularly, let's just remind you of the all-important rules you need to be aware of. The EPL Invitational is a straight knockout tournament. It consists of just one game per round, and every Premier League club is represented either by a player from their squad, an ex-pro or celebrity fan. These are the all-important in-game rules. Each match consists of 2 6-minute halves. In the event of a draw, golden goal will be used to determine the winner, and 85 rated Premier League squads in kickoff mode to establish who is the ultimate FIFA 20 player.
Yes, indeed. And we've already seen some amazing goals today. We can recap the game we just saw then. If anybody did indeed miss it, it was Norwich against Tottenham and Max Aarons versus Ryan Sessegnon. Sessegnon giving away a penalty in the 2nd minute, but Max Aarons couldn't capitalise on it, and he missed the penalty. It didn't matter, though, because he went 1-0 up before the 10-minute mark. We were talking about this game in the build-up as being a potential blockbuster, and it didn't let us down. Max Aarons then scoring his second, a little bit of a sweaty goal, and Sessegnon himself was sweating when the ball hit the back of the net to make it 3-0 before half-time. A few technical issues later, and we got the second half underway too. Ryan Sessegnon got back into the game to make it 3-1, but after a slightly dodgy piece of play, Max Aarons clinched the result 4-1, leaving Ryan Sessegnon to walk off. He was that frustrated, Smithy, he wanted to leave the room.
He did walk off. Yeah, he did walk off. We saw him wiping his hands. We've all been there in FIFA. We were worried that we were going to lose him at one point, but he did come back and he was very gracious in defeat. But the other thing I want to talk about, Joe, is how one-sided that game was, because the guys in commentary were talking about it. And Max Aarons looks now, considering that was so one-sided against such a good competitor in Ryan Sessegnon, who'd already knocked out Spencer, must be one of the favourites to go all the way in this tournament now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he has got that tough game coming up against Emerson. We saw how well Emerson played. He obviously dispatched of Andre Gray in the last round. But having said that, I do think that Max Aarons will be the favourite going into that game. Representing Norwich, of course, Todd Cantwell did it last tournament, but he wasn't able to progress past the first round. Max Aarons has done it and looks an exceptional FIFA player.
Okay, I'm pleased to say that both players join us now. We can start by talking to Charlie Taylor of Burnley. Charlie, before we get into talking about this game, of course, you've already played one match because you had to come through the round 1 match, beating Michael Ward of Arsenal, the top boy actor, of course, 2-1. It was a close game, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a close game. He was a good player. I had a few chances I missed in the first half, but I got through it, and I think today is going to be another tough game.
Have you been chatting to your teammate and close friend Dwight McNeil, because he did very well in our first EPL Invitational, going all the way to the semi-final and losing to the eventual winner? Has he been giving you any tips or critiques?
Yeah, actually, I've literally just been speaking to him this afternoon, asking him if he's got any tips and what Phil's like. So, yeah, he's been a bit of help.
And what's he been saying? I mean, I imagine this is going to be a tougher game. Phil Foden, a lot of people talking up Phil Foden to go very far in this tournament. We've seen him play in other tournaments. He's done very well. What advice has Dwight McNeil given you? Because I think you're in for a tough game here.
Yeah, he just he said he hadn't played him personally, but he says he's good. But everyone's an 85 rated squad, so anything can happen.
And do you have a message for Phil going into this one? He can hear you. What would you like to say to Phil?
No, just good luck and may the best man win.
Oh, there we go. Like it. Fighting talk. May the best man win, Joe. Like that.
In chat to Phil as well. Now then, Phil, what did you make of that? Is the best man going to win today, and will it be you?
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll be a good game. See what happens.
Now, we've heard you're a pretty good FIFA player, Phil. How much do you play?
Not too much recently. I've been playing a bit of Fortnite recently, but I did used to. So yeah, let's see what happens.
And back when you used to play, did you play any weekend league? What sort of record were we looking at in weekend league back when you used to play?
Mostly between 23 wins and 25.
Playing that down, that is very impressive. 23 to 25 wins is seriously impressive stuff, Phil. Obviously, Raheem Sterling last tournament got to the semi-final. Do you think you'll do better than getting to the semi-final this time?
I'm going to try. I just watched Max and he played very well, so it's going to be a few difficult games if I win this one. So yeah.
Okay, good luck, Phil. Smithy, back over to you.
Yeah, great to get the thoughts of both players going into this one. And let's get the thoughts now of our two casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley, with us all week. Brandon, nice. Always like the pre-match interviews because it gives you an insight into how nervous, how calm the players are. And I know both of you were talking up Phil Foden in a previous game stream. You think that this could be a player that goes quite far?
Yeah, definitely. I think we saw Phil Foden in action around about a month ago or so. It was another tournament called the Stay and Play Cup that was run by EA Sports FIFA themselves. He didn't have the run in the tournament that he would have wanted to go an extra step further. But the fact he plays Ultimate Team, the fact he's probably getting more wins than me and Richard together, well, not together, but individually, so to speak, it's really, really impressive from him. So I think he's an outsider. We should be looking at him.
Richard, obviously Charlie Taylor, let's not disrespect him because he's one of the 8 players that had to come through a round 1 qualifier. Just a reminder that 8 players did have to come through a round 1 qualifier. The other 12 go straight in to the round of 16. So we've seen Charlie Taylor play once before and win. But do you put Phil Foden, if we had to pick a favourite, would you say Phil's slight favourite going into this one?
I would say so, but I also think Charlie Taylor, it weren't exactly an easy game for him. Michael Ward came into that game very confident, very sort of energetic. He were up for it, weren't he? You saw leaning towards the screen. He were focused for that game. And Charlie Taylor did what he needed to do. He dominated the possession. He dominated the game against him and got a 2-1 victory in the end. So I think this could be fireworks, a little northern clash, Smithy. I'm in my element.
A northern clash indeed. Richard Buckley is in his element. It's Charlie Taylor, who's already looks like a good FIFA player, beating Arsenal already to get to this stage against young sensation in the Premier League and decent FIFA player Phil Foden. Over to our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley.
Well, here we go. Another round of 16 game underway in front of your very own eyes. We're at the Etihad Stadium. And it was going to be Man City against Burnley.
It's froze.
I think the game is frozen in front of us there. We're not too sure exactly what has happened.
Oh, no. Connection lost.
So we are experiencing some technical difficulties, should I say. We are minutes in to Burnley against Man City, which is, of course, Charlie Taylor against Phil Foden. Just a reminder that everyone is doing this remotely from the safety of our living rooms, and we encourage everyone to stay at home, stay safe in an attempt to save lives as well. So a few technical difficulties, but we're very confident we will be underway shortly. So whilst we aim to fix those technical difficulties, Joe, let's bring you back in. Just chatting to the boys there, they say they put Phil's slight favourite, but Charlie Taylor came through a decent game against Arsenal in his round 1 game.
Yeah, definitely. Michael Ward was very vocal, wasn't he? He's the sort of player that is hard to play FIFA against, tries to get in your head. You know, when he scored goals, he was looking straight down the lens, wasn't he? Saying, Charlie, Charlie, what are you saying now? And that's the sort of thing that winds you up. Charlie Taylor stayed completely composed and proved he was the better FIFA player over the course of the 90 minutes. So I think Charlie Taylor is maybe a sort of Andre Gomez style player that we saw in EPL Invitational number 1 that didn't talk a big game, but just came out and delivered. And I think we might see that again today. Let's not write Charlie Taylor off just because we know that Phil Foden has some serious FIFA pedigree.
Another great aspect of this tournament, Joe, that we found it in the first one, actually, the first ePL Invitational, which we brought you 2 weeks ago, and we found this time around, is just how much the fans are getting behind their team. And interesting hearing Charlie saying there that he'd spoken to Dwight just before, he'd asked for tips, that not only, and Raheem Sterling alluded to it, didn't he? He said that Jordan Henderson was messaging him going into his semi-final. And it's just great to see, isn't it, that all their teammates, fans are getting behind their team. There's a real competitive element to this, and none of these players want to lose.
Yeah, 100%. I think you can see that just from how they play. They're starting to get sweaty palms already. We didn't see that really until the quarterfinal, semi-final stage last time. Of course, if you do lose and you lose heavily, there's the risk of trending online, people taking the mickey out of you as well. So it could be quite fun for the winner. But if you're a loser and on the end of a heavy scoreline, you're going to be in for some stick, Smiths.
Yeah, let's bring our casters in. I think exactly right. You are going to be in some stick. Let's bring back Brandon and Richard. As we said, just a few technical difficulties. We are very nearly ready to bring you that match, which is, of course, day 3, round 3. Brandon, it's been great to see this, hasn't it? And it's almost the focus of the tournament, the fact that it is straight knockout, that there's you have to go in all guns blazing, so to speak, and it's thrown up a real competitive element amongst the players.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? It's you only get one chance here at the EPL Invitational. There's no second chances. There's no second legs or anything like that. You lose, you're out of the tournament, and that's why we've seen. Look at Manchester City last time out in our first EPL Invitational. It was Raheem Sterling that represented the club, took him to a semi-final spot. And in all honesty, I think there is some pressure on Phil Foden coming into this game because he's got to make a semi-final, if not further. He's not bad at FIFA. He's representing a huge club as well. On the other side of that, for Burnley, it's the exact same scenario. You look at Dwight McNeil, he had such a good run in our first ever EPL Invitational as well. So for these two, there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, on the back of that, Brandon, as well, competitive FIFA is sort of known for always being played over 2 legs. This is a one-legged format, so I'd be intrigued to look at the statistics after the tournament's finished. How many people have led the game and then that's been it? They've gone on to win the game. Very, very rarely do you see one player go up and then that result get turned around. That perfect game, the example of it, Max Aarons went up early, saw the game out, got 2 or 3. If you get that early goal, you're in the ultimate driving seat in this format.
And the other thing I want to talk to you about, Richard, is Keenan Davis of Aston Villa plays the winner of this match. And it's someone that in commentary you were very, very impressed with. So whoever comes through this match has a very tough match next up.
Absolutely, yeah. I think overall sort of performance, I think that was probably the most impressive. Beating Jose Enrique, who, I mean, you saw the trophies. Do you know what I mean? He was kissing his trophies. He was confident going into the game. And I always say the extra 5% is all in the head, Smithy. It's all mental, that extra 5%. And Kieran Davis' mentality going into that game was immaculate.
Yeah, and Joe, we can have a look at the draw now. This is how it's unfolded so far.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on this side of the draw, let's not forget about Michael Obafemi as well. You know, we might make light of the fact that Tony Bellew was pretty poor at FIFA and not a great FIFA player, but you've still got to beat what's in front of you. And Michael Obafemi, you know, scored 5 goals with his own player, who I think is going to be a danger man up front alongside Danny Ings. So let's not write off Michael Obafemi either, because despite the fact he beat Tony Bellew, he still looks a good FIFA player, Smiths.
Yeah, he does look a good FIFA player. Very hard to make predictions, all 4 of us, particularly me and Joe, I have to say, sort of sitting on the fence with a lot of our predictions here. We are back. I'm pleased to say the technical errors have been resolved, so I'll pass back to our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley. It's Burnley against Man City, Charlie Taylor against Phil Foden.
Here we go. We're back at the Etihad Stadium for a second time. Fingers crossed this time they should be a little bit smoother, but it will be Phil Foden up against Charlie Taylor of Burnley.
It'll be City at the Etihad in the classic sky blue from left to right. Mahrez driving inside the box here, looking for that cutback. We are playing on the 85 rated game mode. This is the first game of the Premier League Invitational you are watching, meaning that all players have the exact same stats. So you see Taylor in at left back. He has the exact same stats as Mendy over at left back for Manchester City.
Here is Dwight McNeil, semi-finalist last time out in the EPL Invitational, just cleared off the line by Carl Walker. Nearly an early goal for the Clarets. What would be a very good away day at the Etihad Stadium. As we said, the quarter-final place up for grabs in this one. Up against Aston Villa. Chance, Riyad Mahrez. Fantastic block from Matthew Lowton.
And
one thing I think we definitely saw last time out, Richard, when we saw Charlie Taylor play, was quite just an all-rounded good player. Defensively, he was pretty sound. He was good at the back. He wasn't rushing players out of position as you might see someone that isn't as experienced playing FIFA. Back to goal, Kun Aguero. Will it be one for City on the rebound? Mahrez is there. But overall, he's just an all-rounded good player, I thought, Charlie Taylor, from what we saw in round one.
Yeah, we're just about to comment on that, saying in this sort of format, in the one-legged games as well, you sort of have just got to keep your cool. Just keep hold of the ball, get your foot on it. And 45 minutes each half in a one-legged game of FIFA goes through very, very quickly, Brandon. So Charlie Taylor, I like what he's doing right now, keeping hold of the ball, spreading it wide, and looking to get Goodmanson out wide here to potentially get a cross into the box. Mendy does well to win it back. On the other side of that, for Phil Foden, I like that he's starting Riyad Mahrez, that 4-star weak foot of Riyad. The weak foot is the only stat that does sort of change in terms of the stats. All the skill moves are at 3, but the weak foot does vary depending on the player. So De Bruyne is like gold dust with a 5-star weak foot.
Yeah, you can imagine how deadly the Belgium is going forward. Here's a chance now for Burnley. Could it be one? Chris Wood off the post and in. And the extra touch was everything from the New Zealand forward.
Charlie Taylor, what is it with you and Chris Wood? You seem to have a fantastic relationship.
Yeah, he's on fire, isn't he?
He's done well. He assisted, I think, the goal that he did score, Richard, last time out in round one for Jay Rodriguez to tap in that 2-1 victory against Michael Ward. But this time round, didn't need anyone's help. Got the ball just next to kind of the penalty spot. Twisted and turned one way. His little finesse posted in. Burnley lead by a goal to 0 in this round of 16 game. Tell you what, it could be 2-0 in a second. Here's another chance into Jack Cork, who's in there. Into the way only as far as Matthew Lowton.
I know we've not spoke a lot about Charlie Taylor, probably because of the result and the scoreline of the result. It wasn't a 6-0 or a 7-1 or an 8-1. It was just a 2-1 victory. But I've got to say, from the FIFA that we've seen from Charlie Taylor being played, very, very impressive.
We're saying he certainly looks like an all-round player that has everything down to a T, to a good level. Mahrez, equaliser, Phil Foden. Game back on. 26 minutes on the clock. Riyad Mahrez on the score sheet. Manchester City equalised in this round of 16 game on the home turf at the Etihad Stadium.
At the near post, Riyad Mahrez, deadly on that right foot, smashing it in and got the tie back to a level scoreline here. 28 minutes gone on the clock. Phil Foden back in the game, looking to potentially take it one step further than what Raheem Sterling did for City in the first EPL Invitational, making a semi-final. He'll be wanting to go on and win the tournament. Aguero looking to turn his man into the hands of Nick Pope.
If we look back at the last EPL Invitational, Richard, they both literally had the exact same tournament. They were just on opposite sides of the brackets. They both made the semi-final. It was Rusty Dwight McNeil that lost to the hands of Diogo Jota, who won the whole tournament in the end. This time round, Wolves are out of the tournament, by the way. They went out in the round of 16 yesterday. Chance Aguero, 2-1 Manchester City. On the rebound, Leroy Sané was lurking at the back post. The bounce didn't fall kindly to the German, but on the other side of that, as you mentioned, for Raheem Sterling, he made a semi-final as well and lost to Liverpool. So they both have proved themselves in the first ever EPL Invitational. It's just how far can they go this time? Unfortunately, only one of them will be progressing into the next round of the tournament.
Chris Wood looking to barge his way past Laporte and does so. Chris Wood, the man is an animal, gets the rebound. Very, very fortunate inside the box. Burnley lead 2-1. I'm going to have to see the replay on what happened here. Got a very fortunate deflection off John Stones.
Yeah, it's one of those, Richard, isn't it? It comes off against the player, it ricochets off a player, it's just bouncing everywhere. But who was it involved in that attack again? It's Chris Woods. Jack Cork with the goal, all the way from the centre of midfield. Left the highest and headed that into the back of the net. Burnley 2-1 up just before the half-time interval.
You just see how he's playing it right now, Charlie Taylor. Quite a weak pass there, but he's happy to just keep hold of the ball, keep it ticking from left to right. Nice tiki-taka play here. Guardiola-esque from Phil Foden. Aguero looking to turn. Ben Mee stepping out of the back, as he did extremely well in that first tie against Arsenal. Ben Mee, man of the match in my opinion. He's having a great game again.
He was so good. But yeah, the English centre-half for Burnley. Lowton now bombing on from that right back. This could be an unbelievable chance. Keeper, Ederson.
Ederson, are we having words? Phil, get him in at half-time. Have a word with him.
Terrible, man.
For a second, Rich, I thought he punched that into his own net. Last chance of the half. I tell you what, this could be an unbelievable chance. Counter-attack. Leroy Sané. Options in support. Will he go on his own? Leroy Sané with it. Oh, it's just wide.
Not sure if that were a save or it's just missed the target from Leroy Sané. Unbelievable show of pace to get away from his man. Maybe a little bit too much time.
That will do us for half-time, Richard. Burnley with a very slender advantage. 2-1 for Charlie Taylor. Chris Wood involved in both goals. And the away side will have the lead at half-time.
Yeah, let's have a quick chat with both players. What a game. That is 2-1 at the halfway mark. Charlie, let's come to you first. You must be pleased with that first half performance.
Yeah, it's been a good performance. It's not been a great signal though, so I think that might have helped me a bit there.
Yeah, having a few technical difficulties. Phil, a very close game. Big chance for you just before the half-time whistle. We saw you slump back in your chair when you missed that chance narrowly wide.
Yeah, I'm playing good football. Just need to finish one of my chances. And yeah, the connection's quite bad, so with the defending then I couldn't really defend. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah, you're going to look to change anything, Phil, going into the second half, or keep it the same?
I'm going to keep it the same for now.
Okay, so those are the thoughts of Charlie and Phil at the halfway stage. It is 2-1 Burnley. Very entertaining half. Interesting to see how the second half pans out. Let's hand you back to our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley.
Thank you very much,
no.
Smithy. And yeah,
He's done it again.
we should be going back into the second half. But unfortunately, there has been a very quick technical issue. We're going to jump back over to Smithy and we'll wait to get the second half underway.
Yeah, as Brandon alluded to there, very unfortunately, we do have a slight technical issue. So it is currently 2-1 to Charlie, to Burnley against Man City at the halftime stage. So we're at the halftime stage, as we've brought to you. A few technical difficulties, but we're working very hard to bring that game back. Just let's bring Joe in. Joe, thoughts on that first half? Very tight game, this one, isn't it?
Very tight game, but yet again, Charlie Taylor proving he's a really good defender on FIFA. You know, that's something we saw from Dwight McNeil as well in EPL number 1, and maybe it's something to do with Burnley players, but they're all really good defenders. Not necessarily anything flashy or scoring, 7-8 goals like we've seen from some other players in this tournament, but incredibly solid at the back and take all their chances. Chris Wood at the moment as well is becoming a bully up front in 85 rated mode, Smithy.
Joe, it is just like Burnley in real life. Very well organised, very tough to beat, very well drilled defensively. It's just like they play, isn't it?
It's identical to how they play. Ben Mee, the guys have alluded to it in commentary, but Ben Mee has been an absolute rock at the back. 85 rated mode has really made him turn into like Cannavaro back there. Going forward as well, Chris Wood, in EPL Invitational 1, we talked about how useful Glenn Murray was, because Glenn Murray gets a boost to all his statistics. You suddenly see a 91 pace Glenn Murray flying forward. Well, it's the same for Chris Wood. Physicality has really allowed him to add loads to his game because of this new 85 rated mode.
Yeah, it's a good point, that. Let's bring in the casters, Brandon and Richard. Chris Wood does seem to be, as Joe was alluding to there, Brandon, a very effective in-game player.
Yeah, he's. I think one thing that Richard always alludes to as well. You've got to remember, in 85 head-to-head rated mode, if people don't understand, certain positions have the same rating. So the left back of Burnley and the left back of Manchester City, they both have the exact same ratings, the same pace, defending stat, and so on. But one thing that's really interesting is every single striker has 91 pace. So of course, Chris Wood normally doesn't have 91 pace in FIFA or an Ultimate Team. But the one thing that separates Chris Wood as well is his height. That's one thing that not every player's got the same. It's the height. If you've got that height advantage that Chris Wood does have, it makes him so deadly. And I think Richard would agree with me.
Yeah, you've got a 85 rated Aguero and 85 rated Chris Wood. The difference is one's 5'8", 5'9", the other's 6'2", an absolute unit. I know who I'm picking. It's Chris Wood. I would much rather have Wood.
So on that, Richard, sorry, just broke up there, just lost you. You were talking about the difference between Wood and Aguero. You just said that you'd rather have Wood for this game mode that we're playing because they're all 85 rated, as you alluded to there.
Absolutely. The only stats that differ is the physical stats. So the body type of the players. Some players have specific body types. I think Neymar, Ronaldo, Shaqiri and Salah are some of the only players that have specific body types in FIFA molded to their player. Everybody else sort of gets put into a category. So it's lean, medium or sort of stocky. Chris Wood's 6'2" and he's got that sort of thick body type, meaning he can bully defenders. When he gets the 85 rated boost, he goes to a 91 pace, stocky 6'2" machine.
Machine. I love the vivid description you give him there. Brandon, as I say, we are having a few technical difficulties. We are moments away from bringing back this second half matchup. Do you expect Phil to change anything in this second half? But it's a very tight game. There's only one goal in it. Do you think he'll leave it a little bit? Because as we know, one game you lose and you're out of this tournament.
I'd say one thing to look at, as we mentioned, 91 pace, all strikers have got. Get Jesus on for Aguero, maybe 60th minute into that game. Players are going to tire. Players, of course, are going to start. The stamina bars will drop as the game does go on 60th, 70th minute, as me and Richard normally are used to seeing. Bring on a striker that's got 91 pace. You can bring on wingers as well. Of course, they've got great pace as well, but the forwards have 91 pace. It's pretty impressive. Gabriel Jesus for Aguero might be one change, but an attacking change, I'd say, for Phil Foden. He's certainly been able to counter-attack at the moment, which he nearly scored from. You look back at that chance that he had with Leroy Sané just a few minutes before the halftime whistle did blow in the end. So maybe an attacking change to be made. But if you look at City's bench, I know everyone's 85 rated, but you've always got a choice in Manchester City of who you're going to be bringing on.
Okay, as we said, we are having a few technical difficulties. So whilst we work tirelessly behind the scenes, just a reminder, we are all doing this from the comfort of our own living rooms. A reminder to you all, please do the same. Please stay home, stay safe and save lives. So whilst we do have this slight pause, I caught up with Trent Alexander-Arnold. This was in January prior to lockdown to quiz him on his Liverpool teammates' FIFA stats. Trent, we're going to talk about your Liverpool teammates' FIFA stats here, so FIFA 20. You're a bit of a FIFA player, aren't you? You rate yourself. How good are you at FIFA?
I say I'm pretty good, yeah. I'm not going to oversell myself and say I'm unbelievable, but I play it quite a bit. I've not really else to do except play football and play FIFA.
Do you remember your first ever FUT item, FIFA Ultimate Team card?
I think it was a 68.
It was? Yes,
68, yeah.
FIFA 17, 68. And the interesting thing about this is, I was looking at your card before the interview, you were down as a right midfielder then. And of course, you're a right back now. So where is your favourite position to play?
Right back.
Right back?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about your full-back partnership with Robbo, because whenever anyone talks about Trent or Robbo, they talk about the other one as well. It's almost like you come as a duo. You seem to be very competitive over assists. I think you edged it last season. Do you have that competitiveness between each other? Do you give each other a bit of banter when one of you gets an assist, or how does it play out?
No, we don't really think about it too much during the season. It's just a friendly competition. Obviously, assists and goals, which we've scored a few more than what we did manage last season, so we're making improvements in that department.
So it's a healthy rivalry.
Yeah.
So on you two, who do you think has the better crossing on FIFA 20?
I'd say Robbo.
It is Robbo. Listen to this. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 88. Andrew Robertson, 89. So one in it.
Yeah.
So you said Robbo. Are you a bit gutted about that, or do you think they've got that? It's not for me to say, I don't set the rules, but it's not.
There's not a lot in it at all. I'd say we're probably about even.
Okay. Earlier on in the season, incidentally, I did this feature with Rhian Brewster, a teammate of yours, just gone on loan to Swansea, of course. He said, when asked about you two, that you are the best fullback pairing in the world. There is no one better. So do you agree with him there?
I'd say it works perfectly because I'd say I'm more of a passer of the ball and he's more of a runner.
So you complement each other games, you mean?
Yeah, so it's not like identical where we're both two defensive fullbacks or both two unbelievably attacking.
Yeah,
he runs a lot more than me. He's a better dribbler, and I like to pass the ball more than running with it. So I think it works in that way, and I think to have that balance is good within the team.
Of course, Liverpool, blessed, you mentioned them earlier, with great attackers. But which attacker in your squad do you think has the highest overall rating on FIFA 20?
Mo.
Yeah, correct again. Yeah, third, Firmino, all great stats, of course, 86. Second, Mane, 88. First, Mo Salah with 90. So did you know that from playing the game, or was that?
Yeah, I knew that from playing the game.
Yeah. Best front three in world football, do you think?
Yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. This is interesting, actually. Liverpool's midfield, obviously renowned for being able to attack and defend. But who's the most all-round midfielder at the club? So total stats combined on FIFA 20. Who do you think is the most all-round midfielder?
Say Ginny.
It is again, yes. Yeah. How impressed have you been with how much he's developed his game recently and how much he's improved?
Like I said, the way that the fullbacks attack, they obviously cover us a lot. The balance that we have near enough every game and the performances that they put in sometimes probably go unrecognised and unnoticed to many, but within the team they're so valued, and we all appreciate the amount of stuff that they do for us.
EA recently announced the Team of the Year for 2019. This was amazing. 10 Liverpool players nominated for the team. Can you tell me which players made the final team? I think this is quite an easy one, actually, because I've seen a photo of the players that were there.
Yeah, we're all there.
So go on, just reveal who they were.
Ali,
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
Veg, Robbo,
Yeah.
Sadio.
Absolutely amazing, which just illustrates the great year that you've all had.
Yeah.
Any players that you think were unlucky not to make that team?
All of them, really.
All of them,
Yeah, obviously it's team sport, and to do the things that we've done, it takes obviously more than just the 11 people that start. It takes a full squad. So I'd say the 10 people that were nominated. I don't think Joel got nominated either, which is a bit strange because he proved that he was one of the best centre backs in the league, if not the world, over the course of last season. And yeah, I think to do the things that we've done, we've had to work so hard and put the time in. So I'd say it was disappointing not to see the whole team being a Liverpool team.
Yeah. And speaking of Liverpool players, obviously very popular in FIFA 20, but do you know who is the most used player in the entire game?
Maybe Virgil.
It's not, no. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Fabinho. Almost 6 million individual games of FIFA. Fabinho, yeah. I mean, he's in your ultimate team, isn't he?
Yeah.
How many Liverpool players have you got?
I have a lot of legends in my.
Maybe right.
Yeah, and obviously now you're starting to get like the special cards and that they're coming out, which is always good. So, yeah, I'll be using some of them as well.
Trent, pleasure speaking to you as always.
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Top man.
So great to catch up with Trent there. He's a top man and he's a top FIFA player, top football player as well, as we all know. Just a reminder, that was filmed in January, so back in January of this year prior to the lockdown. Joe, got to talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold. We run out of superlatives to talk about him on the football pitch because he's achieved so much for such a young player. But he was a very good FIFA player as well, got all the way to the final and a golden goal in the ePL Invitational. And he was very competitive in that, wasn't he? Didn't like losing, it's fair to say that.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. After he lost that final against Diogo Jota, I could barely get a word out of him, Smithy. He was absolutely raging, wasn't he? But he had a great tournament, you know. First and foremost, saw off Manchester United, which is never easy to do as a Liverpool player, beating Tom Grennan. I think it was 5-1, very, very comfortable. Then he saw off Christian Atsu, who was representing Newcastle. After that was Raheem Sterling, a clash of two of England's best players, a winger versus a fullback. Great to see. And he beat him there as well, didn't he? That game had it all. Diogo Jota maybe a step too far. But having said that, we talk about Diogo Jota as being a near professional FIFA player. Trent took him to golden goal. So he is an incredibly gifted FIFA player and an incredibly gifted footballer, Smithy.
Yeah, Brandon, of course, you're very well aware of so many of these players, done so many tournaments. Trent was, you could tell, as Joe said, did an interview with him after the game, he was absolutely gutted not to win that. He had a big chance late on prior to it going to golden goal as well. He's a real FIFA performer, Trent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not had much luck in recent times as well. He's been involved in, I think, 3 tournaments or so that have been FIFA 20 charity tournaments. This has obviously been one of them in the EPL Invitational. Lost in golden goal, then played in the EA Sports Stay and Play one. He lost in golden goal in that one as well. And then unfortunately went out in the round of 16 in the England's Football Stay and Home Cup. So he's not had the best of luck. He's not had the rub of the green, so to speak, when it comes to knockout football. But he's certainly got better and better. I know he's been playing against a few FIFA pros as well over this time. So if there's another tournament, maybe another EPL Invitational coming up in the future and he gets to call up again, why not? Why can't he go the full way?
Yeah, it was great to hear from him saying his teammates had been chatting to him, and after the game as well, I saw a video with the Ox sort of giving him a bit of banter, saying, "Oh, you couldn't win it for Liverpool," but it all very light-hearted, but it just emphasises how good it has been, and how good this tournament has been, really capturing the imaginations of fans and players. Joe, for those just joining us, we're at the halfway stage of Burnley against Man City. It's 2-1 Burnley. We're just experiencing some technical difficulties. So do you want to just wrap up what we've seen today? Because we've seen 2 big wins for Leicester and Norwich already today.
Yeah, 2 big wins for Leicester and Norwich. I believe we can see the Leicester versus Bournemouth goals now as well. And there were plenty of them, 10 in total, and 8 of them go into James Maddison. This was a game between James Maddison and Callum Wilson that they billed as the King of Coventry battle. Of course, former teammates at Coventry City. And James Maddison absolutely blew Callum Wilson out of the water. This was one of the most accomplished FIFA performances we've seen across either of the EPL Invitational tournaments. Scoring goals for fun. Of course, Callum Wilson accidentally had his team on full team press for about 60 minutes, which didn't help him at all. But unfortunately, you can't see the pictures of the players. Let me tell you, off screen, they were hammering each other. Maddison was shushing Callum Wilson for fun. Kelechi Iheanacho was a constant thorn in the side. Plenty of goals for James Maddison. And he wanted the record. The record stood at 8-0, the highest score in EPL Invitational history. That was set by Andre Gomez against Chelsea in EPL Invitational 1. But it wasn't quite to be. Of course, he made it 7 with Jamie Vardy. And he made it 8 on the 88th minute, when Vardy, I believe, scored yet again. But with just 30 seconds left of the game and the score at 8-0, Callum Wilson played a short free kick. Josh King got in behind and got him one consolation goal that Wilson was absolutely delighted by. The next game today saw Max Aarons go up against Ryan Sessegnon. Max Aarons had the chance to go 1-0 up from the penalty spot in the 3rd minute, but he missed. It didn't matter though, did it? Because he then came out, Buendia squaring the ball to make it 1-0 to Norwich. Max looked really comfortable first half. He went 2-0 up on the 32nd mark when Timu Pukki doubled the lead. Ryan Sessegnon, you can see, drying his hands. The pressure got to him a little bit. Hernandez made it 3-0 before half-time. A few technical issues later, and we were back in the game. Ryan got back into the game. Look what it meant to him. Fist pumping at 3-1, but it wasn't to be. 4-1 at around the 75-minute mark, and Ryan Sessegnon nearly walking out the room. He was absolutely raging, but nevertheless, Max Aarons progresses, James Maddison progresses. You know, Smithy, James Maddison, we haven't spoken about at all, but he's also playing this afternoon. If he can get past Max Mayer, he must fancy his chances.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about, it's very hard to talk about all the players in each stream, of course, and perhaps we haven't given enough credit to James Maddison, because prior to that game, they'd only played once, Maddison and Wilson, and it was 3-2 in a tournament that Brandon and Richard were both involved in the England tournament, of course, 3-2. So I think we all expected that to be fairly tight. 8-1, and what was great about his post-match interviews, James Maddison said he was gutted to concede. He was 8-0 up. It made no difference, but the only difference it did make was that the record in this tournament, Andre Gomez, 8-0, when he defeated Reece James of Chelsea in EPL Invitational 1. So James Maddison would have equalled that record. And don't forget, the goal for Bournemouth was in the last minute, so he could have prevented that. So, Richard, I can see you sniggering, I can see you laughing there. This is what it means to these players. There's a lot of competition going on.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if James Maddison would have sort of broken the record, we'd have all been hailing his name, saying he's the favourite for the tournament. He conceded a goal in the 92nd minute, and we're not really speaking about him that much. That's how much one goal can affect sort of the public's perception on events, you've got to say. But extremely sort of impressed by James Maddison's performance, Smithy. I think if you're looking at the way that he was scoring the goals as well, with dragbacks on the edge of the box, he kept it pretty much the intensity throughout the entire game. He didn't let up at any opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, that shows the mentality. I always talk about it. I always come back to it. It shows that winning mentality that he wanted to go on and break that record.
Yeah, Brandon, let's sort of reflect on the tournament so far. We've seen most of the players play now. Which players have you been most impressed with? I mean, I know Keenan Davis played well. We spoke about James Maddison there, Max Aarons. Who's been the standout performers for you so far, would you say?
I think Michael Obafemi deserves a shout as well. A player that obviously represented Southampton. Yes, he played against Tony Bellew, and over that game there was lots of chat, there was lots of laughs, and there was lots of goals in it in total. But he scored 5 goals of himself, and to do that, to start yourself, and they were on 85 rated mode. So I think he's like a 64 rated player. So to go from that to an 85 is like. Must be an unbelievable feeling for him to play with. 91 pace as well. Scored 5 goals in total. So yeah, Michael Obafemi's a player that I definitely enjoyed looking at. But as I alluded to, that Ryan Sessegnon Max Aarons game, I knew it was going to be a tight one. I think Max Aarons is a player that I really want to watch out for. Aaron Connolly yesterday did really well. Knocked out last time winners in Wolves. That was Morgan Gibbs-White that represented the Wolves this time round. Aaron Connolly in for Neil Maupay this time. Quite a convincing win. Yeah, and again, captained himself, did Aaron Connolly, and he scored with himself. So those are just a few names that have really impressed me this time around with the EPL Invitational.
And the great thing about this competition is we're going to see completely new finalists, not just winners, but finalists, Richard, because Liverpool and Wolves, who are finalists in our first EPL Invitational 2 weeks back, both knocked out in their first game.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, Smithy, someone we've not even talked about, Jofra Archer. He's gone through, and he was in a 1-1 game, turned it on, went 3 goals up with Rashford and Martial, and he's probably the only sort of celebrity fan that we've got left in the tournament as well at this stage. So Jofra Archer could be doing bits.
Yeah, could be doing bits indeed. We are nearly ready to go. Just a reminder, we are at 2-1 stage between Burnley against Manchester City. Burnley 2-1 up, just having a few technical difficulties, but I'm told we are very soon resuming this. So, Joe, just very quickly, we've talked about the best players, some of the most entertaining moments. Jofra Archer, Tony Bellew. There's been some entertaining moments as well. It's been an enjoyable tournament, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think keep an eye out for Jofra Archer this afternoon because he is such a jokes FIFA player. You know, he is constantly praising his own players like he's on the cricket pitch. He's literally like Jofra Archer, the cricketer, has just taken the whites off and put the Man United shirt on, Smithy.
Yeah, he's very, very entertaining. He is coming up later on today as well. So we've got loads more FIFA to bring you today and for the next 2 days as well. I'm pleased to say we're almost ready to go again for the restart of Burnley against Man City. So we'll pass you back to our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley.
Here we go then. Apologies for any technical difficulties there. As you know, this is a full remote broadcast. Everybody playing from the comforts of their own homes. And more importantly, staying safe during this very difficult time. We're back on the way there, Richard. Man City against Burnley. 2-1. Burnley do lead in this game.
Yeah, 2-1. Burnley had the lead and will play the remainder of the game out until sort of the 90 minutes is elapsed, Brandon. So no matter how far we played in the first game, we'll continue up to the minute where 90 is elapsed. Kevin De Bruyne looking to play Leroy Sané in there. Tarkowski. Again, it might be a brand new game. Technical issues out of the way, but Tarkowski and Ben Mee still holding down the fort.
Here comes Burnley now. Looking to make it 3-1. Jay Rodriguez. Way through in the end. He got on the score sheet last time out in that game against Arsenal in the round one of the tournament, I should say. It was 8 clubs that had to go through that round one. We're only playing up till half time in this game because we did see out the first half before we did have that small technical difficulty. It was 2-1, it could be 2-2. Aguero!
Big man for the big moment. Sané whipped it in. Sergio Aguero. 10 minutes into this game. Scoreline 2-2. If you are just joining us, that is 2-2 right now between Burnley and Manchester City.
It's a goal. Sané has been coming for for Manchester City. They have been creating a few chances. Chance Burnley now. Jack Cork again. He's a midfield maestro, Jack Cork. He scored 2 goals in this game.
Straight from kickoff, Charlie Taylor coming down the other end. Cork just on the edge of the box, picking it up. First time shot, rifled in on the left foot. 3 goals to 2 now. Burnley do lead. If you are joining us, we will be playing until half time. When half time is upon us, the game will be over if there is a winner.
Incredible stuff. End-to-end FIFA since we've got back into the game. 3 goals to 2. Burnley do lead. It's Charlie Taylor of Burnley, of course, involved in this game in at fullback. It wouldn't surprise me either if Phil Foden, of course, was in this starting lineup. Aguero to Fernandinho. Aguero, obviously the man that has scored a goal for City since we did restart the game. What can happen here? Dwight McNeil. A little twist and turn on the ball. Westwood. Jay Rodriguez twisting and turning. Oh, it's beautiful from Burnley. It's absolutely beautiful.
Charlie Taylor once in on the favourite discussion right now. We can see him there on the screen. Stone-faced is Charlie Taylor. Doesn't matter if he's 6-1 up, he's still in focus mode. He's still 100% in the zone.
Four goals to 2. Burnley do lead this game. I have to say, with the time left for each of just 20 minutes, when you're playing up to half-time, remember. Burnley could be home and dry here, but Jack Cork, fantastic performance. Away at the Etihad Stadium as well. These 2 chances, these 2 perfect chances. Does Phil Foden, here's Sterling, but one of them maybe. Twisting and turning, trying to cut inside, but of course, who's there at the back? Ben Mee.
Yeah, the great wall of Mee at the back, doing what needs to be done for Charlie Taylor, and he could be in here with Gudmundsson just offside. Coming up on 15 minutes left to play here in this round of 16 game. The winner will be going through to the quarterfinals to play Keenan Davies of Aston Villa in the final 8.
What a game. That plans to be. Into the box it will go. Rodriguez is there again. Chris Wood's also there. No way through. Time ticking down now for Phil Foden. Needs 2 goals if he wants to send this to golden goal. From what we've been saying this whole game, Charlie Taylor has been very much regimented at the back. Defended well.
Absolutely.
Get the ball well at the right time.
Very similar to Burnley in real life, Brandon. Regimented in sort of approach. Everyone is in the role that they need to do on the pitch. It's a very professional performance. Getting the results on the board, getting the wins in the tournament. And with 10 minutes left to go, with a 4-2 scoreline, you got to think this is pretty much over. Westwood and Taylor combining there to clear the ball. But you just see there, just that tiny little play. Other footballers, other FIFA players would have rushed that. They'd have cleared the ball long. Charlie Taylor passed it out of the back. That shows confidence and composure.
Corner. Played quickly into the box. This needs to go in from Manchester City. It falls back to Mahrez. It will fall kindly into the hands of Nick Pope. Remember, we're only playing up to half-time in this game because we already have played a half of this match. We had a few technical difficulties between it. We only had 45 minutes left to play. That is why we are only playing up to this first half whistle. When we left that game, it was 2 goals to 1. So add it to the score you can see on your screen now. Burnley are leading by 4 goals to 2. Aguero! Ooh. Hello! I tell you what, Richard, we could be in for quite an exciting last few minutes here. Straight into the pause menu, as expected from Phil Foden. Attacking changes to be made. Maybe 3 at the back. He knows he's got to go for this game.
Bernardo Silva coming on. Gabriel Jesus coming on as well for Aguero. With 5 minutes left to play.
Well then, if Manchester City were to score, we would go into a golden goal scenario. Remember, it's that half-time whistle. That's as far as we're playing. Jesus comes on, as you alluded to, Richard. So does David Silva as well.
Just gone attacking as well.
That's what Neil is to see out the game, Richard. Just can't lose possession.
Whipped it in. That's going to turn all possession.
Just away.
One.
I think he's there. I think it's done.
Final chance, Brandon. You always get one more chance.
The fourth official has indicated there will
Has to be the perfect chance, Richard. Give him possession away. That will be it. It's in Charlie Taylor's hands to throw this game away. And tell you what, Manchester City will come back down now. Jesus, fresh off the bench into Sterling. Can he get round the corner of Charlie Taylor himself? 2 minutes have been played. Charlie Taylor wins back possession. And Charlie Taylor will send Burnley into the final 8 in that game up against Aston Villa. Congratulations.
Cool. Stand by Smithy's mic. And stand by Smithy, Q Smithy.
Over Phil Foden, you must be pretty happy.
Coming back in vision. Coming to you guys and you're in vision.
Okay, a few technical difficulties there, speaking to Charlie, but a heck of a result, Smithy. Blowing Phil Foden away. What a performance.
Joe, what a performance, but also how calm is he? I don't think Charlie, I've seen him move or even show any emotion. He is so calm, just like Dwight McNeil was, incidentally. Very calm, very relaxed, and Charlie was exactly the same. He didn't move, but that is a big, big win for him, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. I think what is really helping the Burnley players, i.e. Dwight McNeil and Charlie Taylor, is the physicality of this Burnley squad. When everybody gets put up to 85 rated mode, physicality has a massive part to play. And you've got, Jay Rodriguez, Chris Wood. I heard Buckers in commentary there calling the Great Wall of Me, which is possibly my favourite commentary line of all time. But he is right, isn't he? Ben Mee has been fantastic in the first few days. Charlie Taylor as well, playing himself at left back. Jack Cork in the midfield, another big player in there too. And I think we can hopefully speak to Charlie this time. Charlie, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So, yeah, I can. That's a great performance against Phil Foden there. 4-3 winner. You must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, I'm obviously pleased to get the win. There's all sorts going on in that game, so it was a bit different, but happy to get through and get into the next round.
And a brace for Jack Cork. Have you ever seen Jack Cork score 2 goals before?
I've not seen him score 2, no. He's a bit of a goal scorer, though. We've got a bit of a personal joke going on, so yeah, I have seen him score plenty of goals, but never 2 in a game, so obviously buzzing about that.
All right, there we go. Congratulations, Charlie. We'll see you soon. Really, really good victory. That's been locked in then, confirmed. Burnley 4, Manchester City 3. Another favourite for the competition crashes out. We saw Spencer crash out in his first game. Phil Foden now crashing out against Charlie Taylor, and that sets up a beautiful tie. Charlie Taylor against Keenan Davis. Burnley against Aston Villa. Really, really exciting side of the draw. And this also sees James Maddison on this side of the draw. It also sees Michael Obafemi. So do not write off the right-hand side of the draw, because we have loads of big games coming your way. None more so than